Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, the Huge Pop Wrestling Podcast proudly brings to you one half of its TikTok tag team.
Stop. Fuck me. Yo, it's your turn.
Yeah?
Now it's your turn. Yeah, go ahead. There you go.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, the Huge Pop Wrestling Podcast proudly brings to you one half of its TikTok tag team champion of the world. It's me. It's that MATT. And riding with me again every Tuesdays and Thursdays on Twitch TV and YouTube and Facebook and wherever else you watch us. It's me. And Scotty doesn't know.
Scotty knows more than he knows. So Scotty knows more. It's just he hasn't brought it out yet. And it's Huge Pop Wrestling Podcast. What's going on?
What's going on?
What's a week? What a week.
So we are inside of a month away from my departure for a month.
Yep.
So yeah, if you guys follow us on TikTok, I posted something earlier for friends only. It's not general public. But for the people, the millions and millions who don't watch this show, I'm going to be going away for roughly 3 weeks in November. So like that song from the 80s, don't you forget about me.
Oh, we will. Because riding with me that month will be...
It's the third member of Never Wrestled, or three fans never wrestled.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ryan has signed with two people. He's going to be doing our show, filling in for me. And he's helping out over with MWO and Live Zone Sports on Three Fans Never Wrestled.
That's awesome. So we're super excited.
He's the Ryan Seacrest of TikTok.
Yeah, we're super excited to have Ryan. Finally, someone that knows what they're talking about. It's just he hasn't brought it out yet, and it's Huge Pop Wrestling.
I thought I was supposed to be the heel.
Dude, why are we hearing shit in the background, man?
I was trying to turn on our Twitch TV.
Jesus Christ.
We got commercials for some pizza joint. Anyway,
so we're super excited. Lots happening. We have Shane Taylor coming in on the 18th of October.
12 days from today.
Yes, sir. And I have another announcement. I have a guy that his name is Scene Nick. He's a announcer promoter over in Georgia. He's going to be coming on October 27th at night. I knew that Matt didn't have any interest in it. It's an indie announcer, but he's going to share with me some thoughts about a promotion here in Florida that he used to be part of, XIW Extreme Impact Wrestling, which is their event is on Saturday. Same along with Extreme Rules, and didn't you say there was another event on Saturday as well, or this weekend?
Battle of the Belts or something like that.
Yeah,
Battle of the Belts.
It's going to be a full weekend. I'm not going to be able to watch Extreme Rules at its time because I'll be at the XIW Extreme Impact to see Chase Stevens get his ass kicked. I said Chase Stevens is going to get his ass kicked, but we'll go from there. So we had AEW last night, didn't we, Matt?
Yeah. Let's dive into the hot topic before we even talk about the show.
All right.
Everyone's talking about Sammy Guevara.
Yeah, you don't.
It's another product. It's another product of Tony Khan not having control over his boys. He sent Andrade, the guy who got smacked, home instead of sending the guy who did the smacking. Oh, I forgot he was in the main event later that night. Tony Khan needs to wake the fuck up. Stop being a fanboy and run your company.
Matt, we're going to debate this because I think
if it's a work, then they got us. But if it's Sammy, just like Punk, has a history. What, 2 months ago he smacked Eddie Kingston in the mouth. So what you're telling me, he's able to go and walk around the back room just smacking whomever he wants?
No, I'm not telling you that. I'm not saying that. I'm not even remotely saying that at all. But I will have to go on the tails of a couple TikTok creators, and I agree with them. And one is Bree, and one is Shannon. I think that's her name, isn't it? Shannon. Shayna. Sorry, Shayna. Got your name wrong. But there's a lot of heat and hate being thrown around by fans of Tony Khan, of CM Punk, of not so much. Not so much. Am I glitching now? I don't know.
Yeah.
CM, not it. Yeah, I don't know. I'm clear as day here. You still there?
Yeah, you're just all glitchy though.
Oh, I don't know. You might see me see my lights flicker.
No, your mouth's not moving at all.
Really? I don't know about that. I don't know. So, but you see, I have to say, Bree and Shayna hit on some good topics. You know, true. If Sammy did this, the wrong person got sent home. I agree. But the point of the matter is, we are not backstage at this event to see what goes down. So let's stop with the bullshit hate all over TikTok and the creators, because until you know exactly what happened, we have no right to diss on Sammy Guevara, on Omega, on the Young Bucks, on Punk, on Khan. We don't know. All we know, the only thing we know is Andrade got sent to home. The only thing we know is CM Punk made a big ass of himself on stage. That's all we know. The other stuff we know isn't exactly, who knows if it's true, because that event backstage with the Young Bucks and Omega and CM Punk in his locker room, that changed how many times? Wrestlers, just like us, they're human beings. They like to twist the story and make it sound like good for them. I'm not saying that's what happens. All I'm saying is we're throwing a lot of hate mail at these people, and we don't know exactly what happened. Do I like Sammy Guevara? No, he just looks awkward as hell out there. But all I'm saying is we don't know what happened. So that's why I haven't been on TikTok about that, because I don't know exactly how that went down. And I'm not going to be one of those guys that throws shade at somebody that maybe he was in the right. That's my take on that, man.
Well, the whole thing, because I brought up the story here. Earlier this week, more AEW backstage drama was created when Andrade told the story of Sammy Guevara complaining about being hit too hard in one of their matches. After that interview made the rounds on the internet, Sammy fired back by cursing Andrade out on Twitter, calling him a jobber and telling him to fuck off back to WWE like everyone knows he wants to. And then last night, before the Dynamite television broadcast began, AEW President Tony Khan officially canceled Andrade's career versus mask match that was scheduled for Rampage on Friday. TMZ later broke the story that Andrade was sent home after a backstage altercation with Sammy Guevara. TMZ's account of the situation made it sound like Sammy instigated the backstage fight, However, the fact that Andrade was sent home while Sammy remained at the taping and even scored a pinfall victory in the main event made it clear that other side of the story was coming. The side is now here, courtesy of Wrestling Observer Radio. Dave Meltzer, he said it's true that Andrade wants out of AEW, and the incident was his way of trying to force Tony Khan's hand to release him. So according to Meltzer, it wasn't Sammy's. According to Dave Meltzer.
Yeah, it wasn't Sammy, right?
Yeah, according to Meltzer, this whole thing was put together by Andrade to get his outright release because Tony doesn't want to. Tony has his toys and he doesn't want to give them up.
Well, yeah, I mean, I read a little bit about Punk, and do you realize? I pulled it up. I think I saved it as a photo.
Well, he's been granted his release, but Tony Khan is paying him to stay home for the next 2 years, not to go on TV anywhere else, not to tell his side of the story. And there's something else that and AEW gets to keep all rights to his merchandise.
AEW, yeah, he still keeps all rights to his merchandise. CM Punk is still making money off his merchandise.
Well, no, AEW has the rights to sell his merchandise.
But it says he still keeps the rights to his merchandise.
He gets the royalties.
Still.
He doesn't get all profits. He gets royalties just like any other superstar, and they're only gonna sell until they're
sold out. Yes. So, and then I don't know. It's crazy, and people they can't. I don't know. My frustration is a lot of hate towards AEW. Period. They're gonna fall. They're gonna fall. They're gonna fall. What we're not talking about WWE and the stupid mistakes Triple H is making, and there are some dumb mistakes that he's making, but it's not brought up to head because for some goddamn reason, us fans in the media are so in love with WWE because it's been the flagship for so long. And I'm just, as a fan, let us just watch wrestling. Let us watch both shows. Who gives a shit about all this other crap? And I don't know. It makes me not want to be honest. It makes me not want to be a wrestling fan other than the indies, because there's so much drama. There's so much high school bullshit that is flying around about both companies, and maybe it was the same way with WCW and WWE, but you didn't hear about it as much. Maybe it's because there was not a lot of media platforms for content creators. I don't know.
Well, I guess I'm missing the backstage drama for WWE. Like, other than the Randy Orton getting sued, that's the only thing that really...
I'm just saying mistakes. Liv Morgan. Let's go Alexa. Let's go what they're doing with Alexa Bliss. They nowhere near do they need to be. They're just.
Well, that's creative.
But they're making mistakes.
They fumble. And creatively, they have made a few mistakes, but they're not walking around backstage bitch slapping each other because they don't get along.
So let me ask you: are you backstage? Do you see any of it? Is there any footage that you can prove to me that any of this shit's accurate? You heard what Duke the Dumpster Drosy says. There's a lot of backstage crap that we'll never hear about. Never. Maybe WWE's better at keeping it behind closed doors, but you'll never hear about it. There's shit going on everywhere. There are men, there are women, they're grown-ass men and grown-ass women that have attitudes.
Yeah, but they're also... That's the thing. You have guys, the AEW, and I'm not saying they're lesser talents. You have guys that are predominantly from the indies, correct? If you look at AEW's roster, outside of the people that are from WWE that jumped over, they're mostly from the Indies, correct?
Sure.
Okay. So
I don't know wrestling,
being
so I wouldn't
said,
know where they're from.
that being said, they haven't been through the whole rigmarole of being a professional. The guys over in the WWF or WWE have been thrown through more background checks, more preparation than just here's a mic and go talk out there. They've been sent through this kind of stuff. They've been weathered and prepared for it and polished more. And they don't do that stupid stuff because there is a standard to uphold. They don't really, I mean, I'm not saying AEW is a bullshit show because they do produce a very good show, but they don't have the standards set for them as WWF. It's facts. Because they don't.
Now, who's giving you those facts, though?
What do you mean?
How can you compare?
It's facts. They are professionals. They are absolutely professional people. They treat it as a profession. These guys over in AEW, it just seems like they don't have that professionalism.
So you're saying to me, Moxley, MJF, Kenny Omega?
I'm not saying everybody. I'm saying there's a lot of them over there.
Christian, Sting, Darby Allin, Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks, Luchasaurus. They're all professions, man. You bash the indies for not being professional. I would hate to have you say that to an indie wrestler that he's not professional. He's a professional wrestler, no matter how you stage it.
You're twisting what I'm saying.
I'm just repeating what you're saying.
But you're twisting it to make it sound like I'm bashing. They haven't been through the polished to get to the polished product. I've talked about this and this kind of stuff with Mike, who is all for wrestling on TikTok. He's wrestled several dark matches. He's been in the back room of indie shows and in the WWF.
Mm-hmm.
And he told me the indie shows are much more drama filled, that people are going to bug up their ass and they are going to take it to them. Now, there's nothing but courtesy in the back room at WWF. They all treat each other straight up.
That's a complete opposite of what Duke the Dumpster Joshi said on our interview. They don't treat each other straight up. We don't know that for a fact. There's no way I could honestly say that everybody in that back room treats each other with utmost respect. There's any company, whether it's a wrestling company or anything, there's gonna be people that don't get along with each other. It's just facts. And so you're saying to me that because they're more professionally trained, I guess is what you're saying, or polished.
No.
Or polished, right? They got a higher standard, is what you're saying, than anybody else, which I don't know. They treat
it more like they treat it as a business, more so in WWF, WWE, as over in AEW.
I don't know. I cannot say that for a fact. I could not say that. I mean, know. I'm not in the back room. I'm not. You know, people from the back that are in the back. So I don't know that. I mean, because I would have to say I think Moxley would disagree with you, because he said it, I think last interview I watched, he would never go back there because of the things you just said that happens there. He would never go back to or Chris Jericho even. They see things. That'd be interesting what they would have to respond to what you just said. They're in AEW for a reason, and it's because they have no respect for WWE, and they're professionals. to be honest.
No, they don't have respect. They didn't like what Vince was doing because Vince had complete control.
Well,
if you'd listen to the interviews.
I'm just saying would never go back for no reason go back to WWE ever for reasons that that probably they won't even talk about.
We'll see.
No way.
Chris Jericho's already done a podcast and special arrangements with WWE. Don't tell me he won't come back.
He won't. No way. Nope. But I don't know. I found it interesting about our TikTok creators would share that about and it's true. The issue of Sammy, everybody was ragging on Sammy because Sammy, when now you just read it, it's all Andrade that did it. That was cause of why he went home, not Sammy. So that's what I'm saying. The stories that we get are so different from all the different angles, and we don't know what's right and what's not. That's all I was saying. We don't. You can't say we do. The fans. I'm not saying the people that live wrestling. I'm saying the fans don't know. But the fans will say everything that they can do to create content. That's all. I don't know. That's my opinion. I mean, yeah. I mean, people bitched about Saraya being out there taking the hits that she took last night. Oh, she's not ready to go. Well, evidently she is because she wouldn't have did it. Right? I mean, I don't know. So now we're not gonna talk now. What's up? Anyways.
My opinion don't mean shit, so it don't matter.
Yours done. No, see, you're taking it the wrong way, man. You're taking it totally wrong. We can have a difference of opinion, and that's okay. That's what makes this podcast fun. I see it from a different view than you see it. But don't twist my words either when you go back and talk to your boys that all for wrestling. Don't twist my words that I don't think that I'm not saying that the AEW is as professional as WWE. I'm saying because
But what I'm saying is the talent wouldn't put themselves in that situation.
You don't think so? No, you don't think honestly, you don't think any of those guys, such as let me see who I would thought would put
There's no one on that WWE roster right now that would put themselves in that situation.
Yeah, I can't think of I can't think of one hothead and that I can't. You're right. I can't.
Possibly Kevin Owens.
Maybe.
But even him, I don't know.
Maybe he might, but I doubt it. Or is it? So is it the image? So does it appear to be that way because Tony Khan gives his talent more freedom to be who they are as a character than Triple H does, or Vince even did? Is that why it appears to be that they're more professional than over at AEW because Tony Khan allows them to appear to be loose cannons?
It's one thing to appear on TV as a loose cannon, but it's another thing to walk around the back and say that stuff. Like I'll go back and I will say this: Andrade shouldn't have said that about Sammy Guevara. He shouldn't have. Again, and it goes back. I'll always say this until and this is my hill to die on. Tony Khan needs to have more control over what his people say, because that shit just doesn't happen on WWE. It just doesn't. They don't go on podcasts or these shows and slander. They might cut promos, but they don't slander other wrestlers inside the company. Like Roman Reigns, that was a complete work when he was talking about uh Logan Paul. That was a complete work on that one. All these different things were works. They were predetermined. They were a work. Now, and I'm sure that they got the okay from Triple H, from the higher ups to say what they said before they just go out and say it. I mean, MJF, Andrade did it, Punk did it. They just don't get Tony Khan probably sitting back just like you and me watching and listening to this and eating his popcorn thinking, oh shit, maybe he shouldn't have said that. Or actually he's probably like, yay, that was really cool. It's gonna get ratings. And then but he doesn't care about what's happening backstage with the guys that don't want to be there anymore because of shit like that.
So 2 questions.
And then Tony says, I'm you want your release? Tough shit.
Yeah. Two questions then. So is it excusable for WWE talent, and it's been, and I can't, you're gonna ask me, well, pull something up. I can't, but I've seen it through everywhere. Every time my Twitter thing goes off, not every time, but when Twitter goes off, I pop it up, and occasionally I see a WWE talent shoot, or it would appear to be a shoot towards a another WWE talent or AEW talent. I see AEW doing the same thing, so I'm not saying one's better than the other. So are you saying all that shit's fake too? And if it is when is it going to be? When is Triple H, now that he's in charge, is he going to step up and say, let's stop that? Because it happens. It happens daily. Someone is popping off something. A character, anything, Instagram, anything. You got it all. You got all these platforms that these wrestlers are using to shoot their mouth off. But is that
the difference between, and it's the same thing. It's the difference between WWE and AEW. The WWE guys, I'm pretty sure they still have to go through their social media people before they just post it. I can't see, we'll just say, who's on, like Natalia. Natalia's a perfect example because she's always on Instagram, always doing that kind of stuff, always posting pictures and stuff. I am sure before she posts a picture on her Instagram, she's got to get it approved because you represent the WWE. Because you represent them. You don't represent. I mean,
then there's creative in WWE that's overlooking some of the shit that some of these guys write in the Twitter. Because if they're looking at it and they're seeing some of the stuff, the hate that's going out, then they must not be caring about that at all. Because it happens. It's WWE, AEW, Impact, everything you go. I mean, it doesn't happen like it does in the Indies. I get you that, because there was a dude in the Indies that they just spout off. Because they are their own. They don't have a whatever. But I don't know. I can see in the show wise, I see where WWE might be more advanced. I'd use the word advanced, I guess. And they've been doing it how many years? I mean, you got to look back on how many years Vince did this before Tony Khan. Tony Khan's only done 3 years of this, and I'm not a fan of some of the shit he does, but it's he lets his people be real people, and maybe that's the difference between WWE as a sports entertainment, World Wrestling Entertainment, and AEW, All Elite Wrestling. Maybe the difference is in wrestling and not entertainment, they let their people do whatever they want to do. And is that right? Probably not. But maybe
they're the same, though. They are the same business.
but one has more is more lenient, and maybe it's because of the immaturity of Tony Khan that you brought up. Maybe that's the case. I don't know. But
I mean, and what is TMZ doing backstage at an event?
are they backstage at an event?
Well, how do they know about the whole situation?
I have no idea. I'm just saying I'm just bringing up a point that Bree, I think, made in a TikTok video. Are you sure? Who knows who's back there? We don't know. That's all I was saying. I'm not saying it didn't happen. I'm saying we don't know what happened. And as a fan, we have to watch what we say, in my opinion, as content creators. We have to watch what we say, because if we don't know the true story, we can make our own opinions, sure. But no, that wasn't that. I wasn't trying to get in an argument with you about that, and it worked out to be good for the show. But we have our opinions.
No one's popped off. There is someone else in here. Me and someone else watching. Whoever else is watching, feel free to chime in and tell me I'm an asshole or whatever.
All I'm saying, Matt, is AEW. I mean, for instance, here's a bash against AEW. How many more times are we going to have to listen to a talent bash the opponent, the WWE? Now that is something WWE has gone away from. They used to do it, but you don't see much coming out of their mouths about AEW. And I'm just over the fact that
I think the WWE right now is looking at AEW and saying, all right, you're doing everything that we need to do to help you implode. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but they're doing everything in their power to commit career suicide.
Yeah, they might. I mean, we might be seeing the end of it. I mean,
I hope not, but because it is good for the business.
Right. It is. So anyway, where we're going to go now, Matt?
Well, we got 10 minutes till 2:00. So
all right, want to get it? Yeah, let's finish it up. Are we going to do? I mean, AEW was good. There's some good points, in my opinion, that I've seen, and a lot. I'll tell you this: there was a lot of respect that tried to happen last night. I can say Darby Allin tried to give respect to Lilo Rush. I think that's who he faced. MJF even. I'm not a fan. But last night, of course it's a work, I'm sure. Last night he wrestled, and that exchange between Regal and MJF was epic. It almost acted like he was going to turn face. But I hope to God that mistake isn't made, because he looked goofy in that situation. He cannot turn face. There's no way. I'd hate him even worse.
He's a heel.
He's got to be. He's got to stay that.
Heel. Yes. He's a heel, and he has to stay heel. Period.
I mean, but that his interaction with Yuta and everything
he was going to shake his hand, and then Yuta got jumped.
Yeah,
and he's like, "I didn't tell you to do that."
Yeah. So I mean, this is the second week in a row. If you remember right, second week in a row that it appeared that MJF was going to be a face. And please, if he's going to be the face of the company, please have him be a heel and be a face, if that's possible. Because I'm starting to don't twist these words. I'm starting to like the guy. Period. That's all I'm going to say.
MJF, man.
So
I guess this is what the meat, the potatoes of the show is, our WWE 2022 Extreme Rules predictions.
Yes, sir.
I'm on CBSSports.com with the Extreme Rules, and the first one that they have listed is SmackDown Women's Championship, Liv Morgan versus Ronda Rousey Extreme Rules match.
If they don't give the belt to Ronda Rousey, there's a creative problem in that organization. You can't put her in an Extreme Rules match and have her lose. She wins easily. Liv Morgan, in my opinion, is not title worthy. There's a lot of stuff that you see how she is in the ring. In that match, she has no business in a match against an Extreme Rules match against Ronda Rousey. So I pick Ronda Rousey.
Who I think's gonna win, or who should win, and who I think's going to win are two different people. The person who I think is going to win is Liv Morgan. The person who should win is Ronda Rousey. For the exact same reasons that you pointed out. In a shoot fight, Ronda would absolutely wreck Liv Morgan. It's more believable to see Liv Morgan win or get her ass beat than to have her go over on Ronda. But if she goes over on Ronda, it's making her look like she's an unstoppable force. And I think, here's an option. Do you have you set up a situation where there's a run-in and maybe Charlotte Flair or someone returns and helps Liv win and then attacks her after, or something along those lines. The only way that's really believable.
Yeah. Yep. So you think that if they gave it to Liv Morgan, you think it's just because to extend and bring somebody back to start another rivalry?
Yeah.
What I would like to see happen is Becky Lynch on the same show as Ronda?
No,
that sucks.
because she's on the same show as Seth Rollins.
That's right. It'd be nice to see. It'd be interesting. Be more believable if you seen Becky Lynch come in. Oh, Flair, I guess, could do it too. Like you said, come in and somehow cause Liv the match, and then there could be an exchange between Ronda Rousey and whoever it is. I think that's what you're saying. But to set up, I would want to see it set up. If Flair or anybody else comes in, it'd be more likely to see. I'd like to see them set up a storyline with Ronda Rousey instead of Liv Morgan. I'm not a Liv Morgan fan. She's hot as hell, but I'm not a Liv Morgan fan as a wrestler, to be honest with you.
So next up is the women's from the other show is Bianca versus Bayley. The person who wins or who should win and my pick to win are the same person, and it's Bayley. You need to take the strap off of Bianca Belair. She sucks. I'm probably in a minority here. All over. I don't like her. I think she's stale. I think her character sucks. She's a great wrestler, great athlete. I just don't like her. She's just stale.
Right.
The EST stuff is done. And to put Bayley over right now it needs to happen.
Right.
It just needs to.
Well, I agree with you on that, man. I have Bayley winning that. She should win it. I hope creatives is on the same page. You cannot bring Bayley and her crew back at SummerSlam and have them be as powerful as they have been over the weeks to have her lose a ladder match to Bianca. You have to give it to Bayley. You wasted a whole 3 months of my life if you give it to Bianca to win. Because now what do you do with the control, the damage control? You just like made them look so pussy whipped or so done that'd be stupid. You have to keep that group going powerful. Now, is Bayley going to win it on her own? No, there's no way. The rest of damage control is going to be around. So I pick Bayley.
Then we got Riddle versus Rollins in the Fight Pit match, and special guest referee Daniel Cormier. I think it's going to be we talked about this on Tuesday. There's a couple ways they could do it. Though I think would be cool as a setup for Crown Jewel next month or later on this month. Um, hold on a second. I think Rollins wins via weird count out or some sort of weird decision from Cormier to set up something with Cormier and Riddle. Or after, because Cormier isn't here just for a one-off. I think he's going to be here for the next pay-per-view. I think they're going to have him fight in some capacity. And I would love to see it. Somehow Brock gets involved and he gets the match with Cormier because they were supposed to fight at the last UFC event before Brock was forced into retirement in the UFC. I think that would be something I would love to see at Survivor Series, or even Crown Jewel. That'd be epic too. But I think Cormier is going to have some sort of issue with either Riddle or someone else. And Rollins wins. You got to keep giving Rollins a win because he's lost in how many consecutive? I think, yeah, because he lost 3 in a row to Cody. You need to let him have his. But yeah, I'm picking Seth Rollins.
Kind of the same way. I think that you spoke about Brock Lesnar being at Crown Jewel. He now doesn't have an opponent. He was supposed to have an opponent, but I guess you said his opponent is hurt or something like that.
Goldberg
didn't sign or didn't do it.
Yeah.
So you got Brock Lesnar on his way over to Crown Jewel. So you have to set up something. So he's going to be at Extreme Rules. I agree with you. I see him somehow getting involved where Cormier is pissed or maybe he's distracted or whatever, caught off by anything. That's with Brock, and you're right. You have to give it to Seth Rollins as a win, because, like you said, he's lost 3 times in a row to Cody. If you're going to build him up, which I believe he's going to be built up leading into Royal Rumble and into WrestleMania, I think you're going to see him in the title picture with Roman Reigns down the road. But the only way you can do that is if he starts winning big matches at pay-per-views. So I think he's going to win. Does it make sense for him to win? Yeah. You would think everybody is thinking, oh, Riddle's going to win because it's in the confines of an MMA ring, type style. Got Cormier, he's the next MMA, blah, blah, blah. But unfortunately, Riddle's going to lose, and they need to find something different for him. I don't know where he fits. He needs to change his character, start wearing boots and something different. I don't know. But I have Seth winning. You have to. You cannot give him a win because you're going to set up, and I think you're going to set the storyline that's going to come out of that match is a Cormier, Brock Lesnar somehow. Maybe Riddle's involved in that too because Riddle gets pissed off at Cormier. We might see a triple threat. That could be interesting at Crown with Brock, Riddle, and Cormier. I don't know. But I have Riddle winning. I'm sorry, I have Seth freaking Rollins winning. And by the way, I'm saying this the second time. I've said it about MJF earlier. I'm starting to like Seth. He's starting to be back to where he was. I just watched the video where he was in the ring with Triple H and Stephanie, and Sting came out, he's getting back to that kind of other than the annoying or whatever. But yeah, Seth Rollins, man.
Edge versus Finn in an I Quit match. They need to book Finn to win strong. They need to put Finn over more than and by book him strong, I mean win cleanly by himself. They need Finn to be able to beat someone by himself to give him more credibility. And I believe that he can do it. I really do. I think, and it needs to be written that way. And it's going to end up being not what I want. It's going to end up being Finn winning, but with the assist up from one either Priest or Dom or Rhea. Finn wins that one.
I think you're right. I think you have to give Finn a major win. I hope it's without Dominic and Rhea and Priest getting involved. They're setting it up for Edge versus Mysterio down the line. I can see that happening. So Finn needs to win huge, big, because I honestly think, like I said on Tuesday, I think you're going to see Judgment Day get dismantled soon. And I think Finn is going to be the one to leave first. And if you don't build him up as a strong person, he'll never be able to leave, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
but you have to give him the power. You have to give him the badass that he really is. Because that guy, as small as he is, he's a powerhouse, and I think he could do good on his own. Unfortunately, they don't want to bring back the Demon Finn, which I think is stupid. I like that guy, but I think Finn wins.
We're going to skip over the next one that's on the list and go to the one that I don't know why they didn't lead off with, but the Brawling Brutes versus the Imperium in a good old-fashioned Donnybrook match. These 6 men are going to beat the living piss out of each other. Like, it's going to be an absolute barn-burning, just good old-fashioned ass-whooping. And, I mean, I really don't... The Imperium, that's my pick. But, I mean, really, we're all winners in this situation because we're going to see just an absolute, wasteland of humanity at the end of that match. It's going to be just an absolute slobber knocker, as JR would say.
So Brawling Brutes that's with Sheamus and his
Sheamus,
and his two goons. Yeah. Now I'll be honest with you. I tune in when they come down because I love the backdrop shit that one psycho boy does. That guy that's
Pete Dunne.
Pete Dunne. That guy's off the chain. And I think because I see WWE. I'm not a fan of Gunther or whatever his name is and his posses. I would love to see the Brawling Brutes win. I think you're gonna need to have Brawling Brutes win because you got to do something with Pete Dunne. Pete Dunne earned it in NXT. He earned his way to the main roster. Sheamus needs a push. He's getting better and better each week that I see him. My pick is the Brawling Brutes. I hope they do that for those reasons.
I don't know. Imperium just got my attention. Those guys are just absolutely. They don't care, they don't.
I don't. But Dunn and what's the other guy's name?
The Madcap Moss.
Yeah, Dunn and Mac. Yeah, Dunn and Mac. Yeah, they don't care either. It's going to be a fun match.
Yeah,
a match full of beat the shit out of each other and not care.
The next one and the last match that we talk about is Karrion Kross versus McIntyre strap match. The reason I wanted to save this for last because this is where the White Rabbit's going to come out. And I'm going to say Drew wins. Drew wins this match. And this is my setup for the White Rabbit. Lights go out. Bray Wyatt ends up in the middle of the ring. And does Sister Abigail to Drew McIntyre.
After the match?
After the match is over.
Okay.
Then White Rabbit, that song by Jefferson Airplane plays. We're still in the red screen, okay? And out walks out walks Braun Strowman, but he's not the White Rabbit. He gets in the ring, stands by Bray. Out walks Oh, out walks this big, massive man wearing a rabbit mask. Gets in the ring and it's Eric Redbeard because he takes the mask off and it's Eric Redbeard. That's three of the four horsemen of the apocalypse. The fourth one is, in my opinion, and is going to be probably the biggest swerve and could be the biggest pop of the night. The Wolf, the Lone Wolf, Baron Corbin, makes his return after being gone for how many ever months that he's been gone. And he's the fourth member of the four horsemen of the apocalypse.
So if Corbin is gone, Corbin's been gone, and we obviously everybody knows that he got into the limousine of I think they said it was
JBL.
JBL. Would it make sense that JBL would be behind the whole thing somehow, somewhere? Is there you'd almost have to have him somehow in it because that's where he went. That's where Corbin went. As far as that goes.
It's either going to be Corbin or it could end up being Karrion Kross as well.
But yeah, because if you bring Corbin back, that's a great idea. I mean, shit, Corbin's been everywhere from a bum to a rich man to the lone wolf to everything. So he's one of those guys that will do anything he has to do for that WWE wants him to do. That's just who he is. That's how he rolls. And I like that because of that. I like him because of that. But JBL still, you would think that he'd be in there. He would be behind the scenes, maybe. I don't know how they'd make that work, but I like JBL. I'm not too sure if I like the idea of I like your idea of Redbeard. That makes sense. That makes sense that, Bray would show up at that point in time. But if he's going to show up that point in time, you would think that Cross would be, but Cross has been messing around with Drew, and he had a little bit of messing around with Roman Reigns too, and that stuff. But so I'm not sure if Cross would be in there. You didn't mention Cross being in it until the end. But what about that Joe? What is it? Joe Casey? Joe Gacy?
Gacy.
Yeah.
Gacy, yeah.
He's evil. I would rather.
He doesn't fit.
But I'd rather see him. I mean, I know Braun has been with Bray before. I'm just not a fan of Braun Strowman.
I'm not either, but it would work.
It works, but I would like to see an NXT guy like, the only guy that came to mind was Joe Gacy. So, but in that match, I have what'd you say? I have
Drew McIntyre.
You have Drew McIntyre. I have Karrion Kross winning. My reason behind Karrion Kross winning is just I think you have to have him win to push him, unless they're not ready to push him. Maybe they're not. I'd love to have him win, but Drew McIntyre losing doesn't do anything good for him either. So, my pick is Karrion Kross, but I do believe like you, the White Rabbit will show up. Bray Wyatt will show up. But I'm going to play devil's advocate. Not that it's my opinion, just to play devil's advocate. As a fan, in your opinion, as a fan, are you ready? I said, are you ready to be pissed off if Extreme Rules is not the place it happens? Things lead up to now. Don't get me wrong. I see the videos. I see the QR codes. I see all that shit. Things lead into that's where it should be happening. But could Triple H fuck us all and throw a swerve still and continue it on to Survivor Series? Is it possible? And as a fan, if it's possible, do you watch the show still?
I don't know if I'm pissed off. I think I'm more disappointed and like, all right, then what? What? Then what are they going to do? You know, it's just like, okay, is that it?
What if we get another QR code? That's it.
I feel like Bray has to be there on Saturday for things to make sense.
I do too, but have you heard? I don't know. I don't get on. I'm not on TikTok a lot due to my life. But are people talking about it possibly not being that day? Is there conversation going on with content creators? It might not be that day.
I haven't seen anything.
Okay, I don't know. As a casual wrestling fan, I'm just throwing out little what ifs, because what if Triple H says no, not yet. So that's my questions.
To
me as a fan,
it has to be.
Yeah, to me as a fan, if it's not, I'm gonna go, what? Now I don't even want to watch it anymore, because you're gonna lead me on for disappointment. Now Triple H is very smart the way he's doing it, even with the Dexter Lumis segments. He's very smart in how he's building that up. The Karrion Kross is very smart with building that up. Same thing as a White Rabbit. He's very smart building that up. My thing is, I hope he finalizes it like on Saturday and be done. Because it needs to be done. It's been going, 2 months now, right?
Ish, yeah.
Yeah, so it needs to come to an end. It's one of these things that we talk about this in prior podcasts. Storylines that drag on so freaking long, sooner or later you're going to lose it. You're going to lose interest. And I think this is to the point where it's to the top of the mountain. Make it happen now. I mean,
well,
so
we shall see Saturday.
We shall see Saturday. So one last question, then we got to go, bro. I've seen this on someone's opinion. Someone has this opinion that at Royal Rumble, we're going to have Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, The Rock, and somebody else. They'll be the last 4 people in the ring of the Royal Rumble. And we're going to have The Rock and Roman Reigns going at it, and Rollins is somebody else, and Rollins is going to win the Royal Rumble to face. Oh yeah, because Roman Reigns puts the belt up, one belt up for grabs at Royal Rumble, and Rollins wins that belt. Do you see that as a possibility that happens, or do you think that's a conversation we should have later?
Let's save that for Tuesday, for Wednesday.
All right. But there is speculation that we're going to see. I can't remember that last person's name. It's a big name. It's Rollins.
It's probably Cody Rhodes.
Yes, Rollins, Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns, and The Rock. And we're going to have at the end of that Royal Rumble, we're going to have the Roman Reigns and The Rock going at it, and we're going to have Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes going at it. And the winner of the Royal Rumble is going to win because Roman Reigns is going to put a belt up for grabs at Royal Rumble, and the winner of that will be Seth Rollins. So that sets up a Seth Rollins Cody Rhodes match at WrestleMania, and that sets up the match between The Rock and Roman Reigns at WrestleMania.
Well, I'll give you my 2 cents on Wednesday, because I have a whole scenario for you.
I just heard that, and I was like, that makes a little bit of sense. I mean, that would be a great storyline in my opinion, but I'd have to think about it even more. But you have to give Seth Rollins a push. You didn't bring Cody Rhodes in here not to have a push. And if you're going to bring The Rock, you're going to have him against his brother or his cousin or whatever he is. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, a lot happening.
All right, well,
all right, man, you can close it out for us, bro.
Thank you, everyone, for stopping in and watching the MATT, and Scotty knows a little bit about wrestling.
Now I do.
A little bit.
A little bit.
Ish. He knows
Ish.
wrestling ish.
Ish.
Anyway, thanks for stopping in, guys, and watching. Hey, listen, follow him on TikTok. Look for me on next Tuesday as I make my return. Maybe I'm doing Eric Bischoff kind of thing. I'm back and better than ever.
There you go.
Leather jacket, Anyway.
SWO. S. Scott.
Scott's wrestling opinion.
That's it.
Scott sucks at wrestling.
Anyways, guys, thank you for hanging out with us. It's been fun. Thanks, bro, for coming in. Thanks for pushing me to have this podcast today. We're real people, man, and we have real lives, and sometimes life makes you want to not do it. But thank you, brother, for pushing, because I was about ready to send him a text saying earlier this morning, no, I have a headache. I woke up with a headache. Matt, he's got some things going on tomorrow. But thank you guys for hanging out with us. Again, thanks, Matt, for pushing to make it happen.
We'll be back Wednesday.
Yes, we're back on Wednesday, and maybe I'm not sure where I'll be Wednesday. It might have to be, guys. I'll pay attention. It might have to be a TikTok live show that day, because I might only have my cell phone, but I do want to get on with my brother and talk wrestling. So look for that. Be patient. Thank you, Matt. Love you, bro.
I will see you Wednesday.
See ya.